I have a treat for you today. Today we're about to step inside one of the most high-tech facilities in the UK. This technology is used on the green stage, at the Open, and in the Sky Sports studio. Now, as well as that, I'm actually going to get a little bit of advice for you on if you swing over the top. How can you use a slope to fix your swing and see the effects that it actually has? So let's take a look inside, and Darren Webster-Clark, a tour coach, is going to do the honors of showing us this high-tech facility.
So let's start in here. Talk me through this whole setup right now. So this looks like a normal mat to begin with, but it's very, 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 very far from that.
Yeah, what we realised, especially for myself as a coach, is that you'd be coaching players, they come in, you have a great session, everything's great,
Yeah.
and then you'd ring them up later and say, how's the tournament gone? And they'd be saying, struggled. But what we realised is golf's not played on the level. Yes, you've got flat tees on most courses.
Well, it depends where you play.
That's it, on most courses, I say loosely. But what we're finding is, certain shots are going to make it difficult for players. Now, what this gives me the ability to do is to change the environment every time they're coming and test them out. But also what I've found, which is unique, is that if somebody's got a particular problem, I can tilt the stage into a position that'll change their swing. And by doing so, they get the feeling much quicker, rather than me using words to say, do this, or showing another golf swing. That's always been the easy one. Show a great player. How am I going to do that? But by tilting the stage, we've found it really gets over very, very quickly.
This essentially controls the entire stage. We now know the password as well, if you want to get in.
That's it. Yeah, so what I've got on here, we can just put a bubble on there and just move it around, and you can see how that's going to just give me a high point on the actual stage. I just hit go, and immediately now
this stage then moves.
It's going to move.
I'm going to stand on this just for effect to show how much this is going to move up. This is crazy. I mean, like, I'm stood here, and this is moving. How many degrees is this going to be above me now, roughly?
Well, at the moment, we're just moving it 7 degrees, but we can move this up to 10 degrees.
Oh, wow.
12 degrees, so...
I mean, you're never going to get a slope as extreme as this, are you, really? Or very unlikely.
Because your ball's going to roll a little bit, but what we found, a lot of tour players, prior to playing in the Open, they've used these just to, we can't really say the names, but they've used these to get acclimatised into the shots that they're going to be faced, and it's a great way. And we know you stand there and you just hit shot after shot, you're grooving something in, but if you can keep changing, randomising your environment and then still trying to pick the same target off, then you know you're on top of your game.
Yeah, I mean, this is unreal. I like what you said before, though. Can we go through that scenario? I think we're pretty much set a scenario that you were talking about. Let's say most golfers, club golfers, we're going away from tour here a second, they're struggling over the top swing.
Yes.
So if you were to set something, maybe not on this angle right here, but a little bit more above our feet, this is what you were sort of alluding to, right? How you could use sort of something like this to change the environment to help a student at a club level feel a slightly different swing.
Yeah, I mean, one of the exercises I like doing with beginners is just a baseball swing, just getting them feeling, because it's easy just to swing around the body. Now, what I like to then do is just take it down bit by bit, so now the ball's still relatively high, rather than it going down and then obviously the over-the-top stuff starts. So I like this because it's the middle ground between the baseball movement that I love to give them, because invariably they start doing the right sort of positions.
100%.
So you get that, and then you can easily put them into this, get used to this feel, and then drop them to the level later on.
I'm going to hit a shot off this. So this is actually a little bit down off the right as well, isn't it? Like here.
It is. I've just a touch there. Let's just move that back. So I'm just moving it back to a nice level one now. And that's the great thing, just at a touch of a button, we can move it very quickly.
You can't even like hear it. It's just like shh, shh, shh. So without giving too much away, how does this actually move before I hit the shot? Like,
well, we've got 4 actuators under the corners, and what they do, they can move independently 0.1 of a percent. So we can just move each one incrementally, so we can redefine any sort of shape. But what's different between ourselves and other sort of players in the market is we can actually twist.
Oh, really?
So that really does give you that slight weird
so
feeling.
You could have that feeling of like below your feet, but your left foot slightly higher.
That's it. Well, we can twist the corners, so that really does help when you're trying to. Now, if we've got force plates in that we test out as well, then you can't have the twist. Obviously, that damages the plates. But at the moment we've done this for you is we took the plates out so that we can just twist it around a little bit.
Right, I'm going to hit a shot here, Dom. So this would be, like you were saying, for a club golfer, a great way for them to transition from that baseball style move into working towards like a sort of a flat lie.
Definitely.
But then like for a tour player, if you're going play an X Open where you know there's a specific hole you struggle with in the past with a ball above your feet and you can't miss left, it's sort of a great way of sort of practicing that.
Exactly.
Right, here we go. Oh my God, this feels so above my feet. Hey, look at this. Look at the ball flight coming in, hopefully. Going back round. Tell you what, for the first swing of the day, I'm quite happy with that.
I'm pretty impressed with that, Alex. It was a bit chilly and cold outside.
You're telling me. So that's just one of the ways we can move it. Can I have a play with this myself and have a move around? So if I was to go, let's do the complete opposite. So if I just drag that bubble down to here, and then hit go.
Just hit go.
Go. And then this now will go from one extreme to the other. I find it mad that I can actually stand on this as well.
Well, do you know what? I prefer players to stand on it because then they get more sort of feeling, exactly what is happening, rather than just moving onto it, so you're more aware. So I think it's a great way, especially the putting green.
I'm going to hit one on here now, but Dan, you mentioned a player that you've taught. I know you can't mention the name, but they struggle with opening the hips and getting through the ball. Could we set that scenario up on here of how you sort of give me that lesson? You know, with moving this sort of in the right way.
I was saying earlier, I was fortunate to be involved with Scott Lynn and Mark Crossfield, one of your colleagues, out at Lake Nona this year. And Greg Chalmers came in and he just talked about missing his tour card and a particular shot that he'd hit on this last hole where he'd overdrawn the ball. Now, Scott's a phenomenal guy on these swing catalyst force plates, and he saw that there was too much sideways movement going on, causing this draw movement in Greg's swing. Obviously, he's a lefty. So what he wanted to see, Scott, was more of the rotationals, more the shear factors going on. Now, what we tried to do is discuss that. Nothing was really happening. Now, Scott had got all the rubber bands on, trying to give the feeling. Things that you're not doing on a golf course. And then all we did is said, right, let's put this into the survival mode, which is tilt it forward and going this way. Now, of course, if Greg's going to make any movement, he's going to fall off the stage. So immediately, we didn't have to tell him that. He's a top player. So immediately, obviously lefty, but he starts turning and then hitting these little baby fades, which he's not. He says all his life he's hit the draw. So he's suddenly gone on to hitting baby fades, which you would expect off the slope. But more importantly, gave him the feeling. Now, when he went back to level, he could then, okay, that's the feeling. Now, the next day he came into the PGA show and he was like, over the moon. You know what, guys, I've just been hitting 4-irons, baby fades all the way. You look at him this year and he's flying. So he's working a lot with Scott now on the plates and obviously getting these feelings. But it was so immediate in that lesson how it suddenly changed.
And I think I would probably, I've never really used this to the level that you have, but just that factor of placing someone on a different lie, I'd say at any level, that would be something that would be easier for someone to pick up, as opposed to they just change the environment, make a different swing, rather than having to go through the technicalities, try different things, try different feels. They sort of develop that feel for themselves, and then they sort of progress a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I was brought up with John Jacobs, my agent and everything, and he talked about slopes. And there's a great coach out in the States at the moment, Darren May, works at Grove 23, Michael Jordan's place. And what he's done, he's designed his own practice area, and he's actually designed slopes on there. So before we came with this for him, he actually had already designed his driving range. So you could go on the driving range and find a different slope. Now what this does, it allows you, especially, not that you're going to get too much bad weather out there, but it's undercover now, so he can move his slope to wherever he wants to be, and it's just giving you that real world scenario.
Can we put this in that survival mode?
You certainly can. I'm sure you want to try that.
I want to try it. Immediately you told me earlier, I was like, right, I need to give this a go. That felt like I had to work really hard. Like, really hard. That's the shot I like to see, to be fair.
Yeah, that's the impression people give us. They have to work hard because it really sort of heightens all your senses.
I felt like I really had to work this way because similar to what you're saying, that's why it interested me a lot. I get a little bit this way as my fault.
Yes.
So anything that's helping me clear my left side, open up, feel like I'm working this way a little more, I enjoyed that feeling and I enjoyed that shot actually.
Yeah,
Can we have a
yeah.
little look at that? If you get a
Certainly.
video there, that'd be
Let me
really cool.
just, pull that one up.
So can you see why this is like golf in heaven? Hopefully you can really see that I'm actually just having a pretty good time myself here. So we've done 2 different slopes here. We're going to try a couple more, and then don't forget, around that corner right there is where we're going to try some of the famous putts. Here we go. Here's where I get my swing ripped apart by now. Go on.
So looking at this, I like this, Alex. I like the way that the arms, you've got plenty of freedom there. But as you say, I'm now starting to get interested in how much you're going to move forward. So because we've put the swing stage on a bit of a tilt, you can see how your club's coming a little bit from the outside, which is what we expected to see. And as I say, for somebody who's drawing it too much, that's the feeling that they do like, coming down more on top. But it stops you sliding forward. And you can see you've limited the amount of slide. I saw your first swing in here, so we've not got that recorded, but immediately you now start to turn much more around yourself.
I know from my own reference points, that is very good for me in terms
You're
of just looking at
happy
that,
with it. Yeah. So as I say, just moving the stage into a position that can create that straight away. But no, I think that's a decent effort, mate. Definitely.
I'll take that. Let's do a couple more. As I said, I want to hit a couple more shots here, just showing this. Let's do the other example.
Let's go.
Like, let's. What hole would this be? Let's try and pick it, almost like recreate a famous hole. Like if it was above, like this.
Well, you could imagine being at Augusta.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was going to.
Yes. So we're definitely a bit more slow for that one. Yeah, I was fortunate. I coached Richard Green and Soren Hansen there when they played, and that was a great experience.
Right, let's set that one up then.
I know, as you say, I mean, the thing with the Masters, everybody talks about the slopes, and it is when you get there, you do appreciate it.
Everyone says the same thing, like on TV, it does not look...
Doesn't do it justice. I mean, even going down the first fairway, you go down the first fairway and the undulations that you have just down the first there. So, I mean, it's incredible. So you've really got to know how to hit the ball off these varying slopes.
Right, oh my, I feel I'm going to hit it through the roof here. I felt like I really had to try and keep that down. I mean, look at the difference in the ball flight.
But also, I mean, in yourself, where it's going, and that, as I say, that's the big thing for us. Is just trying to change somebody's swing by changing the slope is a good way of doing it.
Now, this is really interesting. This is sort of proof in the pudding. We've got my ball below feet swing, which is this one, and downhill. And just have a look at the left side of the screen here. This is sort of the really cool bit. And then if we place another swing in a second, which was the last one I hit, which is our Augusta sort of lie, we're going to call it. Like, have a look at the difference of where this club is.
Yeah, so you can see now it's actually behind your hands there, whereas the first one
Was quite a bit outside my hands.
Quite a bit outside your hands. I normally like to just look at the line coming down your forearm.
Yeah.
Your right forearm is one of the checkpoints. I sort of like looking at. You can see. I love to see the shaft sort of going through your forearm there. So and that's what we were looking for. We were trying to play a fade, but then when we actually went to Augusta, we
look at the stage. That's crazy how low above my feet is.
Yeah, here it's wild, isn't it? So you now start coming down, and immediately, the shaft's going through your forearm, but a little bit underneath.
Yeah.
So this where, I mean, prior to TrackMan, we'd be knowing that that's coming into out.
Yeah.
You're going to hit a little draw, and that's exactly what you did. But it's great just to see how we can quickly change your swing. And just getting the different paths, and then giving you the feeling, because you felt that downward. Wow, you were really having to work hard.
And then quite the opposite. I felt like I was sort of falling back on that last one. And that's literally 3 shots that we've hit. I think that's the really cool thing about this, is I've not tried to hit 4 or 5 shots to recreate those. They are literally swing after swing. So now you can see why I was so excited about coming down here and showing you this facility, right? Darren, well, thanks so much for having me.
Cheers, Alex.
Thanks for showing me around. Now, part 2 of this will be up in a few days. We're going to be testing the putting green. Now, we can do any putt pretty much in the world. Someone said to me, it's like, I'm going to say a random number here, millions of combinations, but the one I really want to try is the John Ram putt. So stick around for that one. Thanks for watching.